What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back. So this is part 2 of the Hemi cam job. So picked up cam. I got a phase out kit I got to do on everything. Some Hello Kitty lifters. Those are gonna go back in. Hardened push rods. Custom grind comp cams from Green. It is their stage 1.5 high lift V2 with thump upgrade. So put that away. So just in this video, what we're gonna do is we're going to take the front fascia, all the bumper and stuff off, get everything prepped for, which this whole piece will come right off fairly easily. So hopefully, in theory, it shouldn't. I've taken enough bumpers off, especially on the new Chevys, that are kind of a pain. This looks fairly easy. We got a couple retainer clips here. There's a bolt down here. Hopefully, there might be a bolt up here, but I don't think so. I pretty much have everything underneath is loose. So it's just that, some retainer clips, and it should come right out. Alright guys, so these bumpers come off fairly easily. So like I was saying, you got one little 10mm bolt on the top, a couple little pop tabs. You guys slide this kind of, if you already have the stuff up the bottom of the bumper, you can move it out so it comes off of these notches. I keep it put, and you can get to the 10mm and then it pops off like this. Then you're gonna want to do is unplug the fog lights when you get to it, just so you don't rip any wiring harnesses off. So got one pop tab here, and one there. So the bumper is loose on the bottom, so I can pull it up and out of the way. Now we'll be able to push it out. Push and hold out of the way. Come in with a swivel socket. Comes right out. Just give her a firm, but don't think you're gonna break it, because it has little clips that hold it in. Or that happens. We all good. That's why sometimes you should have it with two people, but didn't do anything to it, so we're golden. If it made any little scuffs or anything in it, I'll just buff it out, which will be fine. Now it's just figuring out where to put this real quick. Alright guys, so change of plans. I'm not going to try to take this off unless I absolutely have to, because I'm going to have to cut these little straps. So they're seam welded, which normally they should pop off if you hit it with a hammer just right, but I don't have my long pry bar to pop those off. So I'm hoping just continue with the same plan of top radiator support off, headlights off, and then allow me to get the radiator straight out, and then hopefully the condenser, I think the engine sits high enough the condenser can just droop down and kind of sit down and touch the ground on that side, and I can slide the cam out. I wanted to be able to like swing it or move it, but I'm hoping, because the cam's only gonna come out probably right about here. The cam sits pretty damn high in these motors, so really, if I had to guess, the cam's gonna come out right here. So this just droops down, which it should have enough room to droop all the way down. Then we should be golden, and I won't have to worry about this. It'll just be the radiator. But for whatever reason, Dodge has this super extra, like crap ton of extra length in the release for the hood, so I don't have to worry about trying to reline this back up perfectly. I'm just gonna undo the harness out of it, unbolt it, swing it around, and just set it on the ground with all this extra slack. So that will allow me to not have to worry about that. All I have to do is just bolt it back on. But I'm gonna get the headlights off and we'll go from there. All right, quick tech tip, but most people don't realize is kind of handy sometimes, is when you take the bolt out or the nut or anything, if you can, put it back where you got it from. And so you don't have to worry about misplacing it when you're trying to organize bolts, and they're there when you need them to put, let's say, put the headlight back in. Just pull them out, set the headlight in, plug the harness in, and then bolt everything back up, and you're golden. We're gonna get this other headlight off and start taking some of this stuff off. Like I got some mounts for the radiator and stuff like that, and then a couple 13s and a 10 that holds the fender to the plastic or fiberglass, whatever it is, and then it should come out. All right, so I got all the bolts. So there's a 13 here, two 13s there, a 10 mil there, a 10 mil there. Same on this side, 10 mil, 10 mil, two 13s, and a 13. Then it's two 10s to hold the top radiator bracket to kind of keep it from moving. Little pop clap, little retainer clips. Unplug this, unplug the hood open sensor, and then it's loose. So I undid the harness because I don't want the harness to come with it. Sometimes they will get stuck kind of like right here because there's a little tab. Pull a tab, the fender out, and then it will come out. Brake lines are loose. Just gotta finagle it. Just like that. Just like that. Enough. Literally a crap ton of slack for no reason. And so then we got our ABS module. This little piece that we put back in here. Just keeps wind from trying to go around the radiator, pushes it through it. So now it looks weird, but sometimes it's gonna look weird first. But now everything's super out in the open, so I can pull the radiator off and everything, and it's just right there. So all right, so the radiator fan's out. Now my only concern is this. So that's an AC line, which is not fun, which I'm hoping, because the camshaft, you got the crank here, camshaft's gonna be right here, so I'm hoping, worst case scenario, if I need to, I can undo the transmission cooler lines, which is no big deal. Undo a lot of these clips that hold all these lines together so there's more slack, and I can bring the condenser up and over. Condenser technically needs to come out, but I'm hoping, that's why I want this off, because I have plenty of swing room. So I may still end up grabbing a cutting wheel and just cutting these tabs, which doesn't affect any safety. It's just kind of a holder. If the bolts do break, it holds it there. Worst case scenario, I can just go back through and give them a couple of good little tack welds on it, because you can actually, it's hard to see, but there's a spot weld right there and a spot weld right there. I can just drill. I have a special carbide bit that I can go through and just knock those off on front and bottom, so I can drop this out and just grab my welder and just pretty much re-weld them right there, stick it back on, bolt it on, and re-weld those pieces back there, and it'll be good as new. And then that'll allow me to, like I said, have this thing will swing. It has plenty of movement in the rubber hoses to swing around. I didn't bring the carbide bit with me today because I didn't think I was going to need it. I forgot some of these have the safety tabs. Some of our GMs have this where we can't take the bumper off without either cutting these off, then grinding it down and doing all that, and then they have to be re-welded back on. If there's like any bumper damage or anything like that for this core support. But that allows us way more access to the water pump and the whole front case. So the fun part's gonna be is getting all this stuff, which that's, I don't know why that's doing that, but luckily when I was pulling on the harness it kind of came loose, which sometimes happens. This is a water pump housing and everything, so the water pump housing will get unbolted, and then there's a bunch of other bolts floating around that bolt this whole pretty much timing cover up. So I think I got the right puller. So this crankshaft has three threaded holes on it. So you put a pretty much a Y puller on it and it will pull it out. So I'm hoping I got a brand new puller, so it shouldn't be an issue. Putting it back on might be a slight issue, but I know someone with an installer that I can just borrow, or I'll just buy one. But we'll get to it. All right, so it is starting to become almost time change fall, so it is dark at 8 o'clock pretty much. So I got a light there, got a light there. I have this light, just kind of help finish some of the voids of light. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this front cover off and the accessories and whatnot, and then we'll call it from there. Maybe pull the cam, possibly not. We'll see. See how far we get. I know my GoPro's running out of batteries, so if there's a big skip, I do apologize. It's just kind of tedious stuff like getting the water pump off, stuff like that. Because I don't know where my other GoPro batteries went. I have them and then I lose them when I need them. I can't find them. Same goes for a lot of things. But go through and I got like I said earlier, I got a 3-jaw or a Y puller for that because it has threaded bolts in it, so I can pull that off and then get everything else off with it. So let's get started. Alright, so you got a 10mm bolt, which, so I don't lose it, I'm going to stick it in back here. So you get this is one of your rear water hoses. You got another one that goes into this whole housing back here, so you don't really have to worry about that. Screwdriver and everything kind of gets a little corroded. And then there is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? 10 or 11 bolts. Probably counted that wrong, to be completely honest. And the water pump's on there. And then if it's been on there for a while, it's going to be a pain to get off. Also, it helps if you, I thought I would loosen this, but I probably didn't. I did not. Helps if you loosen the bolts too. And it pops loose. I normally keep some bolts on, or all of them on. So when I pull it off, it is, one, I can pull it off with all the bolts on it. Sometimes you're in a space constraint and you can't. So I'm just gonna get this all pulled off, try to keep the bolts organized, because some of these are different lengths. Like this one goes all the way through, which is easy to remember. These all should be similar length, to be completely honest. But let me get this pulled off real quick. Alright, so I said all the bolts are pretty much all the same length, which is correct. They're just a lot longer than a lot of them, the long ones, a lot more long ones than I thought there were going to be in it. I thought there was going to be a bunch of short ones. But it does kind of make sense that a lot of them go through the timing cover. It could be a pain to get the alternator and AC compressor off. The AC compressor probably won't be that bad. The alternator might be, just because I got the frame and the bolts go out to the side. So I'm going to knock those off real quick. I'm going to see if I have everything to take the crankshaft. I have the puller. I think I may have forgot the socket for that. My brother might have one, but we'll come to that when we get to that. So let me get this stuff off and then jump back in with a progress update. Alright guys, I got the timing cover off. It is rotated to top dead center. I'm going to double check that before I go to try to pin the timing chain tensioner. and then I'm going to pull the lifters out and pull the sprocket off, so then I can pull the cam out. And then we should be golden. I brought Allens because I believe these are Allens, if I remember correctly. I didn't bring my Torx, so I have some Allens. I'm just crossing my fingers they're Allens, because if I remember correctly, they are Allens. They look like Allens. So I'm gonna do all that. I'm gonna kind of double check everything. All right, so I got the sprocket off. Fairly simple. It actually is Torx, but I thought I didn't bring them, but I did bring them. So I'm just gonna pop this plate loose. Which these things they're barely on there. Like, they literally, I think it's like 11 foot-pounds that hold these suckers on here. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go back together with this, because if I remember correctly, just like the Chevys, oh, there's suction on it. There we go. Just like the Chevys, these are one use only. The plate's one use only. And then these bolts are one use only, if I remember correctly. I don't know why. They're not torque to yield. They don't hold a lot of, they look hardened anyways. But like I said, I want to make sure everything's good. So most 90% of Dodge dealerships will hold this little cam retainer bracket and those 4 bolts in stock. Most of them, unless they're doing a bunch of cams, then they may not have any right away, but it's normally the next day. So I gotta figure that out. I can just look on all that and it'll tell me if they need to be replaced. If they need to be replaced, cool. Cam kit should have came with that. Also should have came with the plugs for the MDS, but I don't know if it's one of those weird things that he may have it but forgot to give it to me. I'll just get with him tomorrow on it. If not, we can get a couple extra things. Like I said, these I can just unplug so they don't activate, and then when it gets tuned later in the week, it won't have any issues. So let me knock these lifters out, just 10 mil. The whole retainer comes out, and then we'll pull the camshaft out. Alright guys, so with me being a terrible YouTuber and not knowing where my extra GoPro batteries are, keeps dying. So this cam starting to eat itself a little bit there, starting to go there, and a couple other lobes. I may or may have not talked about it. I do apologize. It's pretty late at night, so been running around doing some other stuff. But I went to go pull these solenoids out, which they typically will sometimes do this, where this plastic piece breaks off, or not really, it comes off because it's supposed to sit in here with the little tabs, but they get kind of bound in there, or pretty much like kind of seized in there, but you can hammer a screwdriver through the center of it a little bit until it stops, and then it'll come out. We're not going to do that. All we're going to do is clean her up, put a little RTV on here, make sure that doesn't leak, send her in there. This thing will be getting tuned Friday. Hopefully Saturday. He's going to try to get it rescheduled for Saturday because it's his buddy. He's going to his buddy's shop to get it tuned. So he was having me do it because his buddy's super busy. But we're going to have it tuned. Hopefully Saturday he's going to try to do it just so I can be there, because I probably can't sneak away. I might be able to sneak away earlier on Friday to record this, because with just long tubes on it and a tune, it made 380 or 381 to the rear wheels. Since then, he added a K&N cold air intake. It's not fully true. It's not a AFE or a S&B. Bigger throttle body, and now we're doing a cam on it too. So we're hoping for mid 400s is the plan. Then we'll be happy. If we get a lot more than that, we'll be happy. The other thing we might try to do is throw the Malibu on the I do apologize for any noise the wind's making. We'll move around that. Round back a little bit. We're gonna try to move the put the Malibu on it, just to see what it makes base, because I gotta get a couple like little like factory defects. Like I've had a torque converter issue since I bought it, but it was only like it would make a weird vibration at low end speed. But I drive literally highway. I get onto the highway, go to work. I don't really do any city slow speeds, so I never even noticed it until I got a torque converter at highway speed. So I'm gonna get all that stuff dealt with, and then I am going to be deleting the cat on that, because the catalytic converter, in my personal opinion, I'm not a scientist, I don't have data behind this, but my personal opinion, by what I've seen with the 1.4s, which are similar to the 1.5s, they're literally almost exactly identical, besides I think a turbo and something a little bit different on the head, is that the catalytic converter causes the ring issues on those engines, just because it's so much back pressure and heat right there. It's bad. Like climbing hills sometimes, if I've been driving across San Antonio, I go in the hills where I live, I get home and my cat is, the first entry part, like right off the turbo on my cat, is glowing red, and that's normal by what GM says. I personally don't like that. That's not something I want. No one makes a catless downpipe for it, so I'm going to be venturing into the stainless steel world of welding to do it myself, just because no one makes it. Everyone makes stuff for freaking cruises, but they don't make them for Malibus. It's kind of annoying. And they don't really, no one makes stuff, some of the stuff for 2.0 Malibus, like the downpipe, you have to have it custom made. I'm going to just buy the stainless steel tubing. I'm going to buy a exhaust kit that has 90s and 45s and stuff like that, and 180Us, just so I can do it myself and I can waste some material, because it's not that expensive for those kits. They're only like 180 bucks, just so I can teach myself how to do it, and then see what it makes on a tune and no cat. I just want to get, I want to get a baseline. But other than that, I'm gonna do the phase lockout on this tomorrow at work. Hopefully, if everything goes as planned, probably do it on my lunch. I'm gonna try to bring the GoPro with me, just so I can show you guys in the next video kind of how to do the phase lockout on this, because it is literally a thing that holds the spring, if I remember correctly. It holds something, I think it holds the sprocket down from springing out and like hurting someone seriously. So you can undo this, and I think I need to look over the instructions, because I don't feel like talking out of my ass like, oh, you do this, this, and this, and it works. No, I'm not gonna do that. Just like, I'm be serious, like some of the stuff is, I don't really fully know, but it's all common sense. As a pushrod V8, so it's, from all the Chevys, there's not that much difference between this and a Chevy motor, so it's kind of, it flops over. And I also have all data to look at anything if I have any questions in my head. But other than that, I'm gonna end the video here, guys. Tomorrow is cam, heads, put on, everything. We're gonna have most of this engine fully complete, besides like maybe the timing cover. We should have the timing cover and everything on. Hopefully it doesn't rain, because the wind's picked up and it's dropped temperature. I need to check the radar. Cross my fingers it doesn't rain tomorrow. But other than that, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and just stay tuned for more Hemi content. Or at least just, this is a little bit of Hemi content that you're gonna have, and then we're going to work on the axle. We're gonna work on that axle, get that thing done, so we can get the Jeep back over here. And then I also need to start working on the Cummins for the Jeep, because I got to start working on that. So I got head bolts and everything. I need to micrometer them, because the factory head bolts and Cummins, you can use them again if they're not stretched by past a certain point. So if they're not stretched, I'm using them again, because we're just gonna hodgepodge this together. So other than that, guys, I will catch you guys later, and have a good one.